Back on the Spire Ridge site today. It's Monday morning, 8 a.m. We got a lot going on today. First thing we gotta do is get the floors covered, protect those, and then we're gonna move on and get some trim installed. Doors need to go in, windows need to be wrapped, cased and based, so we need to kick some butt on this trim. In all of our homes, as soon as the floors are completed, we start covering those with paper. Most people are putting really nice floors in their home, and so we want to make sure that they get covered and protected from all the work that's going to happen from now to finish of the project. Now that the floors are all protected and we're ready to move on and get started setting the trim. First stage of that is we're going to get all the doors out and into the location they go. Make sure everything's going to fit, they're the right swing, there isn't something there we got to change out before it gets installed. On this particular house, we're using alder doors in a paint grade jam, and we're going to mix stain and paint together for the look the customer wants on this home. When you purchase a new door, it comes with the stops in a loose position. So they've basically just been tacked in place to ship with the door. And when they're installed, they need to be removed. The door needs to be set and adjusted so that it's plumb level and operates well. And then those stops need to be reinstalled so that they match the door in its final position. Don, the project superintendent, and I have met up on site today. We're going to do a little walkthrough, make sure everybody's got the parts they need so they can do their job and get this trim knocked out today. Doors are all spread out and ready to go, and these guys are in full process of install. When our trim crew is installing a door, especially in an area where the floor is already finished, as it is in this house, we have to then level the door to the floor. Everything's not exactly perfect when you're finished with the floor, so they'll check the floor, and if that door needs to have an 1/8 inch cut off one side or the other, they do that first and then install the door jamb so you have a nice level fit on the floor and the door looks nice and square in the hole. Our trim crew really has their act together. Not only are they extremely organized, but the custom detail they put into these trim packages is really what makes a Northridge home a custom home. On an interior door, you have a guy on either side, and one guy's job is to basically act as that fake trim, so the door can get squared in the hole, his partner can install the shims, then they nail the door off, they move on to the next one. These guys can typically do a couple doors an hour. In a Northridge home, our trim package is truly custom. So you have all kinds of options of how we're going to trim your house out. In this particular house, they've chosen to step up to a 3-piece header system. So the header will have a parting bead, a 5/4 by 6 header, and then that'll also get a crown piece all the way around it. So there's a lot of pieces that have to be cut and made and routed and fit to make that header work. On a window wrap, they also have to then do the base wrap on each window, build that custom header to fit it, cut all the pieces that go between the windows, route them, shape them, make those all fit so that the package all comes together and looks perfect when it's finished. Wow, what a freaking amazing day. I just can't believe how these guys kick some trim butt today. So while these guys get the last few pieces installed in the front entry, let's get Huntwood in here to do the last few cabinetry touch-ups.
We are back on the Spire Ridge site. It's Tuesday, 9 a.m., and Huntwood's here to finish their cabinet touch-up. Now they're back to finish up all the details, install some base, and install some more furniture black on the island and some of the other areas. That furniture black that gives some dimension to the color in the cabinets. On some of the cabinets, they're doing it in place, and on some, they're pulling panels, taking it to the garage, and installing that furniture black so it all matches and it's beautiful. This customer has picked out a custom knob and pull set and decided where she wants the knobs, where she wants the pulls, and we've handed off a complete plan of that to Huntwood. It's kind of amazing to see how all the little details at the end here are what make the cabinet package come together. For example, as these guys are putting the furniture black on the island and all of these panels start to have that nice black detail that contrasts with the color, you look over to the knobs and pulls that they're installing with the dual finish where you've got black and the brushed nickel together. And that color scheme and the black connecting to the black really pops. You can start to envision how beautiful this home will be when the customer gets to walk in later. While the guys are all over the house finishing out these details, on the island what they're installing is the base trim. The transition from the flooring to the cabinet has to be a nice, clean seam, but with a little bit thicker, taller base trim, it just gives a little bit more of a grand look to the island. I know this customer is going to be so excited when they get to see how this is done. What I'm excited for is tile. We're back on the Spiral Ridge site. It's Friday, 8 a.m., and we're getting started with tile. John, our favorite tile installer from Fairway Floors, is here, and he's getting started in the master bathroom.
We do custom tile showers, and today we are finishing the floor in the master shower and putting the tubs around it.
This master bathroom has a roll-in shower, so we've designed this all the way back into framing to be sunken into the ground so that by the time the tile floor hits, it's level with the rest of this room. It's basically ADA accessible, and it's got continuous mosaic tile from outside of the shower all the way through the inside. This customer chose a glazed porcelain tile. We've got different colors in different rooms, and the shower itself, being a roll-in shower, has a mosaic on the floor, so that allows for the slope of the drainage, and then the 12x24 field tile on the walls.
So the porcelain tile that we used on this particular job site are 12x24s. So it's a big format tile rather than a 3x12, smaller format tile, so it's a more natural look.
With the mosaic being a 3x3 square, that's small enough to allow us to get the drainage right and taper anywhere we need to towards the drain. Anywhere that they have to cut around the wall or fit into a specific corner, they've got to have very precise cuts because they're cutting into a very small tile to make these corners perfect.
And it's right down to the wire. They don't have a lot of excess material. You have to be super careful with your cuts, get all your cuts accurate. I'm very trusting in my cut guy. My cut guy that does all the cuts is my son. It's a father-son team, and I know what I can expect from him, quality-wise. He works with me 24/7.
That's why John and Chris are an awesome team, because precision is key for a quality tile install. We've run LVP through most of the bathroom, but where we transition to the tub area, we've moved to tile. And we did that so that we have the proper bearing for the weight of the tub, and we know that there's a quality product sitting to support that weight. The first thing he's gonna do is he's gonna apply thin set to the subfloor, and he's gonna make that nice and smooth with his trowel. From there, he can place the field tiles on that are gonna make up the floor, but he's gotta get the spacing perfect.
So the reason we use the leveling clips is to ensure that there's a smooth edge on both of the tiles, so there's not a lip edge on either side, so when the grout gets in there, it's nice and smooth, feels like a smooth wall.
One of the reasons we love working with John is because of the attention to detail that he puts into all of his layout. I'm super excited about how this is coming together. The floors and the walls are looking great. While we let that tile set in place and dry, let's go check out what's going on outside.
Hey, what do you know? Biggs Pro Painting's back on the site. Today's gonna be their last day, and they're gonna knock these doors out.
We're all finished up with the exterior. We're starting the interior woodwork, the doors, the baseboard, the windows, the trim, the doors and the jambs, everything interior-wise goes. We got the doors pulled, and we're gonna be putting a coat of Dolly's Huntwood Spice stain on it. Flipping them, staining them with the Dolly's Huntwood Spice. And again, those also get 2 coats of the Sherwin-Williams high build lacquer. When you apply the first coat of lacquer on any type of wood, it raises all the wood fibers in there. So therefore, after the first coat is sprayed, we go back, sand everything down, sand out any imperfections, any raised fibers before we apply the final second coat of lacquer.
Once that's done, it goes into the garage or the designated area for that project that we've set aside to dry the doors and cure them out. And that'll cure for a few days. And then the trim crew will come in, rehang those doors, put hardware on them. Bam, doors are done. Now that doors are complete, they're in the garage and curing out. Tile's installed, it's curing out and ready for grout. So now we just got to give it a couple days, and then we'll get right back after this. We're back on the Spiral Ridge site today. It's Tuesday, 10 a.m. John and his crew are here getting ready to grout. We're going to grout throughout the house in the different areas that have tile. What will happen here is one guy's going to mix the grout up, get it installed with grout sponge, and get that into all the seams. And then another guy's going to follow him and start wiping that down. Some grout joints are little tiny 1/8-inch things. Other of them are clear up to a 1/2 inch. So the amount of grout that goes into a particular spot also creates the dry time that it needs before you can start wiping it down with a cleaning sponge and give you the nice grout that you're looking for. And typically when you're cleaning the grout, that'll take 2 or 3 times for it to turn out the way we want it, which is just perfect. Now as we move on into the kitchen, we have a different style of tile, different color. And it's not only color coordinated for the kitchen, but it also matches the pantry right next door. So everything within eyesight here is all the same color, looks great. While John and his crew are wrapping up the last few details in the pantry and the guest bathroom, outside the pavement crew's rolling in. But that's a story for next time.